And what are some of your holiday favorites? Well, I know I like macaroni and cheese, I like stuffing, I like ham and turkey and cranberry mold. But today I'm gonna make my favorite, which is the first thing I mentioned, macaroni and cheese. Now, there are many different ways you can make macaroni and cheese, but this is not your ordinary macaroni and cheese, and I'm gonna tell you why. In this macaroni and cheese, I use 5 different cheeses, and I make it 3 different ways. And so let me show you the cheeses we have. So we have our smoked cheddar, we have our Dutch Gouda, we have our Manchego, we have sharp cheddar, and mozzarella cheese. And then we have our milk, our butter, our eggs. And then I have my jalapeno peppers, my bacon, my breadcrumbs, and my pepper jack cheese. And of course, you can't make the macaroni and cheese without the macaroni noodle. So these are my already cooked macaroni noodles. So now I'm gonna show you how I put all of this together and make this delicious, unordinary, extraordinary macaroni and cheese. So first thing I'm gonna need to do is melt my cheeses. I know that there's another way you can make the macaroni and cheese. Just add the shredded cheese into the macaroni noodle and just mix it together and then put it in the oven. So I have these blocks of cheese, and I have the blocks of my Manchego cheese, my sharp cheddar, and my Gouda cheese. And so the last time I made this dish, I shredded my cheese, and it was just too much for me, okay? It was way too much. So what I decided to do was just put them in these little cubes, so it's not in that big, thick block. And I'm gonna put it down here in my pot so it can melt. So I have about 1/4 of a stick of butter in my pot. And so now I'm going to add in my smoked cheddar. I'm going to add in my Manchego. And I'm gonna add in my Dutch Gouda cheese. And then I'm going to add in another 1/4 of a stick of butter. And I'm just going to watch this as it starts to melt. And all these flavors combine. And then I'll add in, I'm gonna let this melt for about maybe 3 to 4 minutes. And then I'm gonna add in my milk, and I'm gonna add in my other cheeses, okay? And you wanna make sure you continue to stir this. You don't wanna leave it alone because the cheese will burn on the bottom of the pan, and then have some burnt cheese macaroni and cheese. It's starting to get gooey and stringy, just like I like it. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave this alone for about 45 seconds so this can melt a little bit better. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to just kind of explain to you what my three versions of this macaroni and cheese are. So I kind of like to step outside the box with things. And every year for the holidays, we have macaroni and cheese, and it's always the same. It's good, but it's always the same. So this year I thought, why not switch it up a little bit? So I have my, like I said, showed you a little bit earlier, my jalapeno peppers, my bacon, and my breadcrumbs, and my pepper jack cheese. So the 3 types of macaroni and cheese that I'm gonna make are my jalapeno macaroni and cheese, which will have my jalapeno peppers and my pepper jack cheese. And then I'm gonna make my bacon macaroni and cheese, which will have my bacon bits that I've already cooked and cut up. And then I'll have just my regular macaroni and cheese, and I'm gonna sprinkle some breadcrumbs on top just to give it a little bit of, you know, oomph and flavor, and it'll look really pretty. So now I'm gonna come back over here to my cheese, check on that. I hear it boiling behind me, and like I said, I don't want it to burn. at the bottom of the pan. So it is melting really nicely. And if you want to take the time to shred your cheese, it will melt faster, but I just don't like to take the time to do that. Don't really care to take the time to do that. I'd rather, have to spend a little more time stirring it and allowing the blocks to melt. So it's completely up to you, whatever you prefer, whatever you have time for. So my cheese is getting gooey. So now I'm gonna just add in my milk because I don't want it to burn. So I have about 3/4 of a cup of milk, and I'm just gonna slowly add that in and kind of stir it as I go. And so it's melting down, it's doing what it needs to do. I'm just kind of pressing it a little bit with my spoon to kind of melt those blocks a little bit better. And this literally is the most intense part of this dish. It's super duper easy. And it literally takes 30 to 45 minutes to make, depending on how fast you move. And this dish, like a lot of dishes is so much better the next day. So if you're having Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, holiday you're celebrating, or if you just want to make it just because you want some macaroni and cheese, I suggest making it the day before, putting it in the refrigerator and popping it back in the oven, just so all those flavors marinate and kind of just play on each other, and it's the bomb. Okay, so I'm going to add in a little bit more of my milk. My favorite part about this dish is watching the cheese melt and come together and just get sticky and gooey and stringy. I can see the future. I can see when the final product, when I'm tasting it, and it's delicious. Okay, so this is almost done. I'm gonna continue to stir this a little bit more. I'm gonna add the rest of my milk in, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add in my other cheeses, my mozzarella cheese and my sharp cheese. Okay, so our cheese is all melted. It's gooey, delicious, yummy. Okay. All right, so to my macaroni and cheese, I've added some olive oil. Now I'm gonna add in sea salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And I'm just gonna mix this in just to give our macaroni noodles some flavor. So now I'm going to start to pour in my cheese. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. I'm just gonna turn half of my cheese in with my macaroni. Just turn it like that. So now I'm gonna add in my 2 eggs. And the egg is to kind of just allow it to all stick together and it won't be falling apart, and just make it stringy and gooey and clumpy. Okay, so the first of my 3 variations of my macaroni and cheese that I'm gonna make is my jalapeno peppers. So I have some cut up jalapeno peppers, and I'm just going to add them into my macaroni and cheese and just mix it in together. And then I'm also gonna add in pepper jack cheese. And this is gonna give it a kick, some spice, and some flavor. So I'm just gonna mix all this in like that. I'll take my baking dish and I'm just going to put it in there, just like that. And then I'll top it off with some more of the pepper jack cheese. And that's ready to go. That's ready to go and be put in the oven. So the next of our 3 variation, let me just dump the rest of this in there, is going to be bacon. Okay, so now we're gonna make our bacon. That is our second variation. So I'm just gonna take my bacon bits and just dump that in there with our mac and cheese. I'm just gonna mix it in. I can smell the bacon already. It smells so good. And then I'm just gonna add in some more of my sharp cheddar, because cheddar, cheese, and bacon go phenomenally together. Just gonna mix that like that. And then I'm gonna put it in our baking dish. And that's all it is for our bacon. And then the last one, it's really nothing special to it. All we need to do is just put it in our baking dish. And then I'll add in our breadcrumbs after we take them out the oven, and I'll put it back in for about 5 minutes. And I'm just gonna add some mozzarella cheese to the top of this one. Okay. And then all 3 of these are gonna go in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. Okay? And we'll see you after these have browned and melted. They're gooey and we're ready to taste. So this is it, our extraordinary, unordinary, fabulous 5-cheese macaroni and cheese. 3 variations of it. We have our jalapeno and pepper jack cheese. We have our more traditional, which is just our 5 cheeses with a sprinkle of breadcrumbs on top for some crunch. And then we have our bacon macaroni and cheese and some shredded cheddar on top. So that's all that there is to it. It's super good, it's fun, it's unique, and it'll kind of set your Thanksgiving off the right way. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Whip It Up with Devin. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our website, www.whipitupwithdevin.com. Happy holidays.